Hello everyone. Today we are going to start our third simple machine called the pulley. We started with the lever, and after that we learned that a wheel and axle is just another example of a lever. If we think about what other things wheel and axles can be used for, if we stack up a bunch of different wheel and axles next to each other, we can get a pulley. We can also have single pulleys as well. Pulleys are really good for, it's a wheel and axle, and you can take a piece of string and you can feed it through so that if you pull on one end of the string, the other end goes up. So one of the main things that you can do with the pulley is redirect your force. So by pulling down on this side, that side goes up. Back here I have a couple pulley systems set up here. This first one is the most simple type of pulley. On this pulley, we have a load on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weights, and attached to that is our string. That string goes up and wraps around the top pulley, and then I pull on that string. Pulleys work in the same way that all other simple machines work. They give us a mechanical advantage. Remember, a mechanical advantage will help us reduce the force that we need to apply to lift something, but the trade-off is that it increases the distance. So let's lift up this load using a pulley system, and let's see how far it goes compared to how far we have to pull on the string. This piece here will mark how far we pull the string out. Our load will start at the blue tape line right here. So we're going to pull it up. Look at that. It gets to the top in the same distance of the string that we pulled down. Okay? Because the distance was the same, that means the force was the same. That means the force that I'm pulling down on this string is the same as what this thing weighs. My mechanical advantage in this case is 1. Notice how there's only one supporting string. Let's say we wanted to make it a mechanical advantage of 2. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to change our fixed point. I'm going to wrap it around the bottom pulley. And now I've attached it to the top. Again, let's record how much string we pull out and compare that to how far our load will move. It's a lot easier, I can tell you that. So there's 1 and there's 2. We had to pull out twice as much string in order to make this go up the same distance. This, we would say, has a mechanical advantage of 2. Notice here that there are 2 supporting strings supporting this load. The string that I'm pulling with here, that's not a supporting string. So a really easy way to calculate the mechanical advantage of a lever is to just count the number of supporting strings. Okay? In this case, there are 2 strings supporting this load, 1 and 2. On the other side here, I have another pulley set up. I'm going to mark with a new piece of tape the starting point of that. And in this one, I've utilized all of the pulleys here. On the top, all the pulleys are used, and on the bottom. I've fixed the string to the top one right here. So and before we start, let's look at the mechanical advantage of our pulley. We have, here's the load. Supporting the load, we have 3 strings in front 3 strings in front, and 3 strings in the back. That makes for a mechanical advantage of 6. Which means when I pull on the string, the load will be 6 times easier in terms of force to pull up, but I'm going to have to pull out 6 times as much string in order to lift it up to the top. So let's see if that holds true. Again, this piece will mark how much we have to pull out. So here we go. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. There's 4. There's 5. And there is 6. And now it is at the top. We had to pull out 6 times as much string in order to lift this as much, the same distance. But the force was a lot easier. So remember that all simple machines work in the same way in that they reduce the force that you need to put in, but the trade-off is that you have to pull out a lot more string. For your online assignment this week, you are going to build your own pulley system. Here's what you'll need. You'll need a string. You'll need some sort of support beam. In this case, I've just tied a string in between 2 chairs. Okay, you could also use anything rigid like a pencil or a pen or a ruler across here. But for my purposes, I'll just use the string. You will also need a load to lift up. In this case, I'm just using an Nalgene water bottle. It's just a little bit filled up with water. I don't want it to be too heavy. You will also need a handful of paper clips that ideally you won't need back. So in order to build your own pulley system at home, here is what you can do. In class, usually we would have these pulleys here. If you have these, great. If you don't, that's okay. We'll get around that. So the first thing you need to do is attach your string to either the supporting beam or the load. So I'm just going to attach it to the supporting beam up here. Just like that. And now if we want to make our pulley system, we can attach a pulley to our load. We can put the string through it. Look at that. We have a pulley system. Now, if you don't have these pulleys, that's okay. What we're going to do instead is we're just going to omit the pulley itself. And we're just going to use the paper clip. So we can feed it through the paper clip. And although there'll be a little bit more friction in our system, we'll still get a pulley system there that we can use. The way to increase the mechanical advantage is to add more pulleys. So on the string here, I have some more pulleys. So right now, keep in mind that there is a mechanical advantage of 1 on my load. So there's only 1 supporting string. But actually, that's not the case. In this case, there's actually 2 supporting strings. There's 1 and there's 2. If you just look at the load itself, there is 1 and there is 2. So adding another pulley to the top here, this will not add another one. This is still only 2. This pulley only works to redirect the force. So I still have a mechanical advantage of 2. If I wanted to get another mechanical advantage, well, then I'd have to add another pulley down here. So let's do that. Here's the paper clip. Attach it to our load. And now we have a mechanical advantage of 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have a mechanical advantage of 4. So we went from 2 to 4. If we add another one up here, again, this is only going to change the direction that we're pulling. So it doesn't actually help us with mechanical advantage. So now we have a mechanical advantage of 4 in our pulley system. So we went from 2 to 4. If you want mechanical advantages of 1 or 3 or 5, you'll have to take your attachment point and attach it directly to your load. For your online homework, you'll be building your own block and tackle system of mechanical advantages 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and recording them in your online journal. Part of the fun of pulleys is working with them and experimenting with them and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. So if you don't get it right away, that's okay. Just try to experiment with it, try different configurations, and see if you can figure out how to get those mechanical advantages. You can always email me or see me during office hours for help.